Hi there, everyone. Welcome back this afternoon to day 2 of the New Mexico Main Street Winter Conference. We are so glad you're here. My name is Robin Bobian, and I'm a revitalization specialist in image development and promotion. And I'm going to be introducing your next session. We are going to be continuing on maintaining and fostering confidence in your district. And we'll be in a session with Sean O'Shea on designing your economic vitality mix. I'd like to remind you that if you have any questions, leave them in the chat. I'll be monitoring that for Sean and we'll address those at the end. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean, who is also the founder and president of Hatchform in Santa Fe and is a revitalization specialist with New Mexico Main Street in economic vitality. Sean, go ahead.
Great, thanks, Robin. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So real quick, I just want to make sure that everyone got the handout that was sent, I think earlier this week. Jessica sent it out. And if you didn't, there's a PDF in the chat that I dropped in a few minutes ago that you're welcome to open up. But today we're just going to talk very briefly about 4 really broad bucket strategies that you can use as the basis for your economic vitality mix as you start to develop out some programs and projects to assist the business community in your district in new and innovative ways. And especially since the pandemic started, and especially when budgets were tightening and people were really taking a closer look and a keen eye towards what programs and projects were really providing value to the communities and giving businesses a leg up. It's important, I think, for all Main Street districts to take a look at how they are supporting businesses, both businesses coming into the community, the ones that are already in the community, and then ones that are being created as a result of the work being done by Main Street and other organizations in the community. And so we will look at kind of which support avenues do you want to target. By support avenues, really referring to those 4, the 4 key, again, broad buckets that were in the introduction of attraction, recruitment, outreach, growth, or business retention and expansion, and then creation, business creation. And so just starting out, we want to look at data. What data do you have already? What's already been collected? Either by your own organization, by the city, county, COG, regional economic development, any organization that's in the data collection business and submitting reports. What do you have available to you at your fingertips? And then taking a look at it and saying, what does it tell you? What can you get or glean from that data that's going to help you out as you start to design and implement projects? And then also asking, what do you need? What's missing? What do we need to go out and get on our own? Or what do we need to hire somebody to do for us? Or recommend that you get help from the state or national Main Street organization to provide you with. But knowing what you don't have is sometimes just as important as knowing what you do have, because that can help guide the direction that you're going to be going in. The next one is the ecosystem. So taking a real close look at who are the players. By players, it's who are the support organizations or the other business development projects or programs, the other support players that are there. What are the gaps? So where are there gaps within this ecosystem as far as programs or people being served or kinds of businesses being served or the stages that the business is in being served? Who are potential partners? So where do you see potential for partnership? And then where's their oversubscription? And by oversubscription, we mean areas where there's a lot of resources being devoted to that one sector or that one stage or that one type of business or that one type of programming that you can avoid because there's already a lot of support or a lot of activity in that area. And then capacity, to kind of go back to what Eric Renz Whitmore was talking about in the session last week about your superpowers. What are your internal superpowers? What are your internal strengths that you can capitalize on to be able to really implement some of these projects and some of these programs? So we're going to look at 4, again, kind of broad buckets, and these are attraction, recruitment, outreach and growth, which we're calling BR&E, or business retention and expansion, and then creation. And so by attraction, we mean, this is sometimes called passive recruitment, but it's just making your main street, the community, really attractive to businesses or individuals or skilled workers, solopreneurs, Zoom towns now they're being called, so that people want to move there. They want to relocate there. It's a place where they want to be. They feel comfortable. They feel connected. They feel a part of everything, and it's really where they want to be and where they want to thrive and create activity. Recruitment is actively going out there and looking for businesses that you think would be a perfect fit for your district, and then pretty much selling to them and saying, we have all the things that you need to do business well, and we want you to come and either relocate or open up an expansion branch in our community, in our Main Street district. Business retention expansion is going out and making sure that the businesses that are already in existence in your district are able to grow, or able to stay competitive, and that you are there to provide services to them whenever they need help with something. And then creation is, as it sounds, just helping entrepreneurs or people who are interested in starting a business, helping them through that process and getting them launched within the district. And so we're going to briefly kind of go through these 4, look at some of the data, ecosystem, and capacity requirements that you would need for each one of them, and then some of the programs that are already in existence in Main Street districts that fall within these 4 buckets, and then we'll get into the breakout sessions for the group activity. So attraction. So again, this is how can you help make your community a more attractive place for companies and talent? And I think in the past, a lot of this, attraction, recruitment, BR&E even, was really focused at the company level, at the firm level. So how do we get companies to come here, to set up shop here, to want to be successful here, and to want to grow hopefully from here. But if we expand that out now, we also want to look at talent. Like, how do we make our communities or our Main Street districts really welcoming and great places to land if you're a super talented individual, or you have your own just solo business and you want to move somewhere because it's a better place for you or for your family. So we're looking to attract not just companies but skills, but talent as well. And what do we need for that? A lot of really good data is important for this, and a lot of good data just sort of collected and in a really easily digestible format on your website or other sort of promotional materials. Things like lease rates or available property, what sort of quality of life amenities are offered, what does the workforce look like, what does the housing situation look like. Another thing here would be, what does the K-12 education look like? Just things that would be important to somebody as they're assessing whether or not they want to relocate to your area. And then ecosystem for this. So who are the other players that you want to be aware of, but then also maybe talk to or partner with or create programs in conjunction with. And these are other businesses. There's nothing better to a business that wants to move someplace, or for an individual that wants to move someplace, to have really great recommendations from the other businesses, maybe like businesses that are operating successfully. Property owners, the city and county, other consultants possibly who are working in the space. The Main Street, if you have a convention visitors bureau, your council of governments, all the EDOs from your municipal city EDO up to the county or regional if you have one, just below the cog. Chambers of commerce, industry groups, so like NM Bio, or there's the Space New Mexico, I think it's called. Investors, the investment community, so that they can be aware of people that might be interested in moving, or people that are interested in moving can be aware that there are investors around who could provide some startup or seed capital. And then colleges or universities are great also. People want to live close to colleges, universities oftentimes. And then capacity, so a real superpower for this kind of work is just to be like a tireless advocate. So being a tireless advocate for your community and going out there and talking about it and talking it up and saying, isn't it great? We have all these great things going on. Why wouldn't you want to move here? Or why wouldn't you want to move or relocate your business here? And then some great examples of these, and these are by no means comprehensive, and I didn't mean to leave anybody out, but I only had a little bit of room. So Silver City Main Street has a really good property and lease rate information on their website. I think Rhea helped them out with that, and she did a really, really wonderful job. And then also the downtown Albuquerque Main Street has a really nice website listing that includes data and some reports about the district that people would be interested in if they were really seriously considering, moving a business there, or moving there like side hustle or becoming, setting up shop there. Next is recruitment, and this is probably where most Main Streets don't necessarily enter into to this recruitment bucket, but I wanted to include it just in case, because there is a lot of economic development still kind of concentrates on this recruitment aspect. And this is actively seeking out businesses and, again, skilled workers or talent to want to move to your community. And so while what we talked about before is having a really great place to land, really welcoming and warm and receptive and resource rich place for people to land, but doing it in a passive way, so just providing that information, hoping that people will come who want that experience or that lifestyle will come to your town. Whereas recruitment is going out and actively selling to people, selling what it is that you have and wanting them to come and move to your Main Street. So a lot of the data that's involved in this is a very data heavy kind of bucket. What incentives are available to people to move, and especially industry specific incentives. In New Mexico, how do you get LEDA? How do you get JTIP? Are there any other sorts of local or county incentives that can be used? What land is available? What do supply chains look like? How are they going to be able to get the raw materials, and how are they going to be able to ship those raw materials out once they've been processed? Void analysis. So what is missing in your community as compared to other communities of like size and demographics and amenities? What's the leakage report look like? What is not being spent there that could be brought back in? What does consumer spending or discretionary spending look like? What are the skills and labor availability, and what's the skills and labor movement? Do you have a lot of one kind of skill leaving after maybe they've been educated, or do you have a lot of kind of skills coming in because there's a really good industry base there for them? Ecosystem, the main player here in New Mexico is an organization called the NM Partnership, and they have a contract with the state to do outreach and recruitment, and they oftentimes will send prospectus to economic development organizations at the county or the city level, saying, hey, this this company is interested in moving, or they're interested in expanding. Here's the criteria that they're looking for. Does your community meet these criteria, and do you want to continue this conversation or move it forward? Also, commercial real estate agents are often very interested in this. Utilities are interested in this, or development people, real estate brokers and developers. And a great, to do this well, you have to have the capacity or the superpower to be a really good salesperson. It's sales, sales, sales. So if you don't have that, or you don't like sales, maybe recruitment is not necessarily one of the the broader buckets that you want to explore creating programming inside of. But if you are a really good salesman, you love getting out there and you love talking to people, and you love getting them interested, and you love bringing them in and showing them all the things you have to offer, and really like landing the deal, if that really gets you excited, then this might be a great place to start. And some examples of this is the Downtown Las Cruces Partnership is working on a recruitment strategy to try and bring in retail businesses that would fit within their district. And then also Lovington is working on a dining and entertainment district. And they're doing a lot of like feasibility studies and outreach efforts to try and bring in, dining, distillers, brewers and to create a dining and entertainment district. Business retention and expansion. And this is pretty much you just going out and talking to businesses that are in your district and finding out, what the challenges are to them doing business there. What, if any, what are the opportunities that they see? Are they interested in expanding? What kind of help do they need to expand? And then, helping them along with those questions or the needs that they have. Connecting them with resources is a big part of having a BRNE strategy. And a lot of the data for this will come from, what sorts of primary survey information do you get? BRNE, for the most part, usually rests on, having a regular survey instrument that you go out and conduct with businesses in the district or in the area, whatever it may be, on a regular and recurring basis. So you're constantly going out and talking to businesses and finding out, what the sort of state is, what's the, what are the like general opinions of doing business, what are the general kinds of challenges and struggles that they're having, and then going back and trying to figure out ways to address those struggles and provide them with resources and information that would be useful to them as they may work to maintain the business or work to expand it. Or often cases, BRNE is a tool or a strategy that's used if there's a lot of businesses that are about to family businesses, or the principal is maybe ready to retire and they don't know who to hand it over to. Like, what does succession planning look like? The ecosystem for this is very much, the business support providers that are helping businesses that are already in existence, SBDCs or SCORES or chambers of commerce, economic development organizations sometimes, but all of those business support providers that you're all aware of, and there's a different mix in every community for who they are and what they do or what they concentrate on. And then your superpower for this is just to be a champion for businesses, to be really relentless in going out and trying to find them the information and resources that they need in order to to maintain their level of success, and then to expand it and grow within the district, or maybe beyond. And some really good kind of BRNE project examples are the Business Alive program that's happening in Taos, that's helping the local businesses develop or increase their e-commerce capacity. The cash mobs, which are very popular, I started in Raton, I think that have been in Raton, Las Vegas, and Debbing, I think I saw, is doing a cash mob now too. But a really fantastic model and a really innovative program that really falls under this BRNE umbrella. And then Melanie and Lisa talked a little bit about the kick-ass entrepreneurs at Clovis, but having business owners and entrepreneurs talk about their experience and their story to try and really develop community and a supportive kind of network for them to rely on if they do need assistance in the future. And then creation is, how can, as a Main Street organization, you assist entrepreneurs and aspiring business owners to launch and become successful in your district? And some of the data needs for these are, how many businesses are starting in the district or in the area, right? What's your area of influence? Is it the county, the city? Have there ever been any needs assessments done for what, people who are looking to start a business need? Have there ever been any, where are the opportunity gaps? And if we start from the premise that, potential is universal, so that it doesn't matter where you are, there's always potential somewhere, but the access to opportunity is oftentimes very scarce. How do we close that opportunity gap a little bit to help realize the potential of these individuals that are in the district or interested in opening up a business or starting something within the district? And then the ecosystem for this is entrepreneur support programs, business resources, again, similar to kind of the BRNE one, your scores, your WES, SBDCs. Maybe if there is, an incubator close by or an accelerator program or a co-working space or other kinds of entrepreneur support programs, they would be definitely a part of this ecosystem. And then the capacity for this is, do you have an innovative spirit or kind of a culture of innovation within your organization that's going to enable you to really not only speak their language for people that are interested in starting stuff up, but also provide really kind of, services that are outside of the box for them to really be able to be successful. And a couple of examples of this are Tucumcari is in the process of launching a tiered accelerator that's aimed at startups and really early stage businesses in their district. And then Gallup has the Business Hub, which is it's a desk space and meeting areas and equipment, and then a whole host of different trainings, and then some industry targeted sort of accelerator or sprint programs, all for the Gallup Main Street district. And so with that, move into the handout. And so hopefully everyone had a chance to at least sort of skim through it. It concerns Alpha City, which you are the new Main Street director for. And the county hired a consulting firm called BWise LLC to do a full examination of the city and recommend ways or programs for them to diversify and strengthen the economy. And then unfortunately, BWise LLC didn't provide them with the information that they were really seeking, that it was super useful. And so they've asked you, the new Main Street director, to come up with some programs that could help drive their economy forward. And so for this, we're going to break out into breakout sessions, and then using the information in there. So there's a SWOT analysis. There is some data, but the data is very incomplete. So that's sort of one of the things is what kinds of data would you need in order to make a more informed decision? And then there's a really brief report from a BRNE survey that the city conducted. So in your group, we want you to think about what program would you recommend that your Main Street organization launch, right? And so by program, we mean, would you launch an accelerator program, or would you launch a survey for BRNE, or would you launch a networking group, or would you launch a really targeted recruitment at a certain industry? What partner within the ecosystem would you need to work with to launch that program? And so you can think about either one that's maybe mentioned in the SWOT analysis or in the BRNE report, or one that you just want to make up, like whoever would fall into a bucket that would be good for you to partner with. And then look at what data is missing from the report that you would need to collect before fully launching. Like, what would you need to know before you could confidently launch this program that you would need to go out and find on your own? And then pick one person from the group to explain your program partner and data, and then tell us, why the information, like what the information was and why you chose that information, and how it led you to pick the program that you did. And so with that, I don't know if there are or any questions before we break out into the breakout rooms?
Sean, your handout is available in the chat for people to download before they go to their breakout rooms.
Yes. Okay, we can launch into it then. Is everybody back? I can only see. You
No,
okay?
not yet.
Okay.
They've got 28 seconds. We've got 29 back, it looks like. Ten seconds.
Hey, Sean. It's Christina Umbrellas.
Hey, Christina.
Did you have their baby yet?
We did.
Congratulations.
Thanks. He's 8 weeks, Brandon.
Nice.
Rooms are closed and everybody should be back.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Hope you had a good time in your breakout sessions. So now we'll just, I guess, go in order of the room numbers and just have one person from the room, briefly explain the program that you picked, the ecosystem partner, and then the data needs, and then tell the group, how the information that was in the report led you to pick that particular program. So I will stop this. And then if Robin can help me out, whoever was in room 1, we can start there.
Okay, room 1, Brenda, Becky, Ashley, Becky, Amy.
I think Ashley's going to be our spokesperson.
All right. Well, thanks, Amy. Okay, so we came up with a group that would need to be a county-wide task force. So we'd need to work with the county, the city, local businesses in order to get the training for people that needed more training. And also find affordable housing to bring more people that would stay here. We're just going to call this town Carlsbad because it's going to throw me off if I try to call it anything else. So Carlsbad would need more affordable housing to retain people that are in more your restaurant, your entertainment, your arts and cultures, so that those people were not commuting for 45 minutes. We would also need to create opportunities for jobs in entertainment and the arts and culture as well, to have more things for our community members to do here in our town. We would need to do a lot of data collection, see what our community members feel that our city needs, as well as the people that are commuting into the city, to find out what they would want to see in our town in order to bring them in and keep them here. So Amy, am I missing anything?
Oh, maybe I forget. Did you say that as a part of that task force would be the community college, university, and high school to be a part of that conversation about the trainings? I think that was it.
Yes, we definitely would need all of our partners to come in on this and help us out. So.
Great job, Ashley.
Great, thank you. Group 2.
Charles, Charmaine, Chelsea, Connie, Christina.
Hi, I'm going to report for, this is Charmaine, I'll report for group 2. So looking over all the data, it looked like our program would be an incubator for more of the arts and cultural types of businesses. And we would partner with a maker's market so that we could try to incubate those type of businesses and keep people, they seem to be happy with their ability, how many restaurants and stuff were there. So more shopping in the evening, people there instead of going out. So in order to know how that would work, we would get the data we needed would be to survey for a market viability. And then we know that we need to train those people. So we want to partner also with LEDA and the workforce development to expand those incubators and give those people who decided to go into that the skills they would need to be successful. And so we were focused on the arts and culture, the fact that the data showed the lack of that.
Great, thanks. Thank you, Charmaine. Group 2. Group 3.
Chantel, Crystal, and Della.
Hi, everybody. This is Chantel. I'll be the spokesperson for our group. We also see having fit, a countywide effort, of collaboration, especially with emphasis on the college and the community college. That was great that both of them were there. Those would be huge assets just for partnership and, really discussing things further and getting even more data if needed. We also looked at affordable housing as being a major concern, and possibly looking at workforce housing with that, because we saw that there was such huge commutes and that so many people were coming in from outside surrounding communities. And so seeing why they're actually choosing to live outside of the community. And so we also looked at that as possibly being because of the entertainment. And so looking at that, we also saw that there wasn't much outdoors industry involvement. And so looking at that as a potential as well. And then we also looked at workforce development and seeing what type of training. I believe there's over 300 individuals that needed training. And then one thing that was brought up was even a mixed use of development in the downtown area for living, working spaces. And that's what we had.
Thanks, Chantel. Group 3. Group 4.
That was Eric, Michelle, and I think Flo was in there as well.
Yes. Do you want one of us to say something, or I can say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll come up. I got kicked off the internet for some reason, and so we were in the middle of a lot of discussion, but I'll go ahead and kind of throw out some of the things that we talked about, but also what I came up with as well. One of the programs to recommend on our Main Street launch, I talked about how important it was to do some culinary training, maybe develop a center that would have a certified kitchen for growers and markets and farmers to be able to exhibit or demo in a downtown area. This would give us our strength of the labor for skilled trade. And our weakness is something that we would have to look after, is the equity and the inclusion and making sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate. And one of the things that we felt was a great opportunity was to use the talented community to be able to showcase some of the culinary arts, and by partnering with some of our organizations and some of our wonderful dining experiences that are downtown, as well as our educational services throughout the community, including our colleges. So kind of enhancing careers as well. So I don't know. I know that we were talking about stuff and we got cut off. So I don't know, Michelle, what you and Eric were coming up after that. So thank you.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, thanks, Flo, that was great, is that we also saw that there was really a need to have some sort of housing, both affordable and probably market rate, that most people are having to commute into this area. So maybe working with the local city and county to find out how to make land more available or to incentivize housing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Group 5. Is there a group 5?
There is not.
Okay.
6.
Group 6.
Lauren, Linda, Lisa, and Mata.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be reporting out for our group. I would say we touched on a lot of the topics that have already been mentioned, including affordable housing being a main one, just because of the number of commuters coming into the community. We also talked about possibly creating an MRA, and that is connected to also affordable housing, maybe bringing that more downtown or looking at other areas and coming up with a list of vacant properties that could be explored as well for more affordable housing. We also talked about, again, training programs, maybe involving some regional programs, since that seemed to be one of the weaknesses of this community, is being connected to other areas. So maybe calling upon JTIP and developing more workforce development for the employees in the area. And then one other thing that that it sounds like other groups haven't yet touched on is possibly capitalizing on more tourism for the area. So it's like one of the strengths of this community is, you know, the small businesses that are there. Hospitality is big in the area. And so we thought maybe creating a convention and visitor bureau, because they don't currently have one, would capitalize on more tourists coming through, because they don't have you know, affordable housing for people to move there necessarily, and that could be a good starting point. But obviously all of these programs that we proposed would require public input, especially the creation of an MRA. And we also said that we would work closely with local government partners, planners. Anything I missed from the rest of the group?
You did great.
Great, thanks, Group 6. Group 7.
Mario, Mark, Matt, Melanie, and Michael.
Hello, our group kind of echoes what everybody else was kind of thinking and collaborating about. We decided that in our case study, we wanted to do a needs assessment of our employers. So to create a workforce program or create a certificate program that focuses on customer service, historical site knowledge, they're familiar with the area, they're familiar with kind of like the place they live in. We really wanted to try to train our local workforce because of the high cost of housing. So by us training or giving our local workforce certifications or some sort of valued information, we'd be able to attract more locals to create a better workforce. And then if anyone wants to jump in.
Yeah, I think one other.
Oh, sorry, Matt. We also wanted to work with the local colleges and universities to create certifications or programs that have kind of rank. So if you have one of these certifications or ranks, then you have kind of like a little higher chance of getting the job compared to a regular local application. Matt?
Yeah, I think he nailed on it. I'd reiterate what Lauren was saying with developing MRA plans or Main Street district, and then identifying properties within those that area for these tax credit programs for affordable housing or workforce housing programs to come in. Another thing that we thought would be important is also some talent recruitment from outside of the Alpha City. So we had discussed some sort of video promotion that highlights industry and business to try to recruit some talent outside of the city. But other than that, I think if there's anything else.
Great, thank you. I think that was all the groups, is that right?
No, we've got two more.
Oh, two more. Oh. All right.
No worries, I got you. Group 8. It was Crystal, Rhea, Rona, and Susan.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be the default presenter for our group, and then I'll let anyone jump in after that. So instead of focusing on the mythical case studies city, we actually focused on two communities that were part of the group, Alamogordo and Belen. And the similarities between both of those cities in terms of business development strategies was, looking from within. And like in the Alamogordo case, the post-COVID, it's been an opportunity to really recognize the strengths that are in that community Like Crystal said, you know, in a sense, everyone is seeing what their town is again. And, you know, they've been able to start to leverage a state grant that they received. And then are looking at themselves, you know, in their positioning as a regional player with Las Cruces and El Paso, you know, and being able to promote, you know, what it was that initially made Alamogordo a really special place, space, the train station, a place for innovation. In terms of like the business development, you know, it's really focused on like locals, you know, retaining and building skills and capacities of local people. And then, you know, what's been happening during the pandemic too is just like people are getting to know about other businesses in the community and really like coming together to know that, you know, what you need is available is already here in Alamogordo. And then similar in Belen, Rona spoke about, you know, how there's been like this huge spike in the gross receipts tax over the past year. And, you know, how they've really been able, Belen as a city has really been able to differentiate itself. It's not just a community that's located south of Albuquerque anymore. You know, it is its own community with its own identity. It's not a bedroom community. And what's been an interesting thing that's going on there is local stakeholders like the mayor have kind of jumped on the board of becoming small scale developers in that community and have purchased buildings. The mayor's going to do a mixed use development. There's 5 other vacant buildings that have been purchased, and all of that's been catalyzed from the Great Blocks on Main Street investment that has been made. And for, you know, as far as the Belen Main Street, kind of what their role is, you know, being a convener of resources and other stakeholders. So she talked about like every week having meetings with the school district, with the city, with the SBDC, and just, you know, keeping everyone, you know, bringing everyone together and creating innovation and ideas through that convening. And I don't know if Rona or Crystal, if you want to add anything.
You said it perfect.
Oh, thanks, Rona.
No, that was great. I guess the biggest takeaway I got from what we were talking about in our group was this idea of, and maybe it's just my own thought process, but really focusing on the local aspect of things and making sure that our local communities feel strong and confident in who they are and what they have to offer, and that tourism part will come. But if you're so focused on the tourists that you don't necessarily, you know, see what the needs of your locals are, you know, if things like the pandemic hit, or if other things happen where the tourism stops, then you've done your locals a huge disservice. And so I feel like we kind of talked about just that idea of making sure that the locals are seen and taken care of, and really kind of, I can't remember even what the word is, but just making sure that they are put out into the community to say, hey, this is what we have, this is who we are. And then we can look at the tourism and we can look at other people coming in. But I really think local needs to be the top tier thought in our heads.
All right. Group 9.
That's Kat.
Yeah. Sorry, I got it.
Awesome. Sweet.
I'm ready. So we were really focused on the lack of arts and entertainment in the district, or in the city. And so we were imagining partnering up with the city and also the college and community college to bring a makerspace to the district, where people could come and, you know, pay a membership fee and make whatever they want, and then be encouraged to have sort of pop-up shops, which also contributes to retail and just sort of has a more, you know, arts focused retail aspect. And so the makerspace would also sort of serve as a business incubator as well because of the pop-up shops. And then we were imagining in the warmer months having artisan market on the weekends with live music. And so, you know, that sort of hits all of the places where they're lacking arts and entertainment and retail. And yeah, we also talked about, because of the super long commute, and that 60% of people are having to do that, is possibly partnering with the city and the county to have some sort of a tram or shuttle system that could bring people in and sort of not necessarily lessen their commute, but have it so that they could do it more publicly and they could relax on their commute and everything, as opposed to driving the 45 minutes. So that's us.
Great, thank you. And thanks everyone for taking part. I hope you enjoyed it. And I think we are right on time.